What's new, just issued from the Weather Service, they're going to extend the severe thunderstorm watch out for the remainder of our counties. That will go through this evening. Areas in orange, that's where you have current severe thunderstorm warnings. That means the severe thunderstorm is imminent. This is what's staring us down. We've got a line of damaging wind producing thunderstorms that continues to race east. This formed near Chicago this morning. It's raced across Indiana. Lots of power outages in western Ohio. Timing this out, another 20 minutes or so for downtown, another 30 minutes or so for Menor. You see as that continues to push east. Heavy rain, lots of lightning. You can expect a shelf cloud with this as it moves in, heading into Lorain County, down towards southern Lorain County, Ashland County, then eventually down towards areas near Mansfield. The wind with this, we've got some strong winds offshore, 40, 50, 60 mile per hour winds, not out of the question with this. We'll continue to track this. Meteorologist Matt Standers was with me as well. We'll keep you updated throughout the show. Laura?
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Now we want to get to the latest on the COVID pandemic. We are going in the wrong direction. In fact, today, the state released its COVID numbers and 3,393 cases were reported overnight. For perspective, the last time we had 3,000 daily cases was back in February. Hospitalizations are also up with 147 patients admitted just in the last 24 hours. COVID patients, we're told, are occupying just over 4% of the hospital beds in the state.
Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now. Monica, good afternoon to you. You look at those numbers and you watch the growth. It's disturbing, and I'm guessing the Delta variant is to blame here.
Yeah, of course. It's the Delta variant. All of this is because of Delta, and it's mainly affecting the unvaccinated. And if we look around the country at places that are being overwhelmed, we first see a jump in adult cases and hospitalizations. Then we see the same in kids. Right now, Rainbow is full of kids with RSV, a respiratory illness we typically don't see until late fall or winter. Hospitals nationwide are dealing with this. The concern, there's no room for more kids if Delta becomes a bigger issue. Doctors on the front lines are adamant that we all need to protect the most vulnerable. If they can't be vaccinated, a mask is the next best thing.
We have to protect the vulnerable population until they can be vaccinated. It is our moral obligation as human beings to protect our children. Every person in this state should wear a mask at all times when they are outside their home.
Boy, she can't be more plain than that. Dr. Edwards says we have the data that masks work in reducing transmission in the classroom from last year. So that's the best place to start, which is exactly what the Ohio Department of Health and the CDC recommend. But her concern is this variant is so contagious, she hopes that will be enough. Regardless, she expects to see an upswing in cases in the next few weeks after kids return to school, but she hopes she will not be seeing any of them in her ICU.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. But I think a lot of parents are questioning this and talking about this. You know, should my kids mask? Should they not? Also, is the Delta variant more dangerous for kids?
You know, according to the American Association of Pediatrics, about 1% of kids who get COVID get hospitalized, and at least 350 kids died nationwide, 7 in Ohio. However, with Delta surging, the age of the hospitalized is starting to skew younger. And according to the CDC, between July 31st and August 6th, children with COVID were being hospitalized every day nationwide. That's nearly matching 217 daily admissions during the pandemic peak in early January. In Ohio, we've seen our child cases jump since June. We've had more than 2,400 cases in the first 2 weeks of August. So far, though, fortunately, and let's hope it stays this way, we don't have a lot of pediatric COVID cases right now in our local hospitals.
Well, let's hope it stays that way. A quick clarification. We heard the doctor say if you're outside your home, does that mean if we're outdoors too?
You know what? I think every situation is different. We know if you're going to be in crowded conditions, yeah, it's just a good idea, especially if you're not vaccinated or you have somebody at home who can't be vaccinated like a child.
Sure.
But otherwise, yeah, outdoors we know the transmission was a lot easier. But again, she goes on to say this variant is more contagious than anything they've ever seen. And she told me, she goes, you just don't understand how contagious this is.
Yeah, it must be because these numbers are ramping up dangerously fast.
Yeah.
Monica, thanks.
Sure.
And as we just heard from Dr. Amy Edwards, masking is really the way to go here. But not everyone feels their kid should wear a mask while sitting in the classroom. The mixed bag of policies across the state is causing some serious frustration for parents. Our Lindsay Buckingham reports.
There's a mask battle going on between parents and schools. Last night in Brecksville, Broadview Heights, some were fighting for freedom.
Huge concern with somebody deciding the health and safety of our children. Please don't do that, because then I will get upset. Please be fair.
Others fighting for protection.
Let's show our kids how to live the BBH code of conduct through the safety of simply wearing a mask.
Districts across Northeast Ohio releasing varying plans on masks, many requiring them indoors, while others recommend but don't mandate. That's something 14-year-old Finn Wilburn, a vaccinated freshman at Hoover High in North Canton, doesn't agree with. So tonight, he's speaking up at a board meeting.
We're all part of this community, and there are thousands of kids who cannot get vaccinated, as I've said before, and it's our duty to protect them. It's the board's duty to protect them by requiring that they wear masks.
And in Bay Village, parents divided over the district's plan to implement masks for the first 2 weeks before reevaluating based on the county's case data. With planned protests for parents on either side, the district said in part, with the Delta variant and its increased spread, we are choosing to be proactive. But at the center of each side are the kids whose parents, despite their views, are trying to do what's best for them.
We just want the choice to let our kids choose and let ourselves choose for, our smaller ones, like whether they want to or not.
And we reached out to the Ohio Department of Education to ask about its guidance to Ohio schools. In a statement, the department said it refers school leaders to the Ohio Department of Health's guidelines, which recommends schools require masks. Laura?
All right, this is a hard one. A lot of opinions, a lot of passionate parents. Lindsay, thanks so much.
Bet.
And today, the CDC strengthened its recommendation for pregnant women to get the COVID vaccine. The CDC says scientists analyzed safety data involving nearly 2,500 pregnant women who received an mRNA COVID-19 vaccine before 20 weeks of pregnancy. They did not find any increased risk for miscarriage. The agency also says that pregnancy increases the risk for severe illness from COVID-19. This also includes those who are breastfeeding, trying to get pregnant, or might become pregnant in the future.
Well, Laura, he's famous for being the first man to walk on the moon. That happened, of course, back in 1969. Today, to honor the American hero, NASA Plumbrook in Sandusky was renamed the Neil A. Armstrong Test Facility. Members of Congress, as well as Neil's son Mark, were all at the naming ceremony today. The testing facility is pivotal in our return to the moon. That's where they do the testing of the Orion spacecraft for Artemis 1, which is an unmanned mission around the moon. Neil Armstrong's son thinks it's a fitting tribute to Dad.
Maybe whereas Dad may not have wanted his name attached to something just because he didn't feel like he deserved that, honestly. The family, in retrospect, is thrilled.
Yeah, you can tell Mark is excited about this, and he's absolutely right. Neil was such a humble man, such a simple man, brilliant, but very humble and simple. And I think he might blush a little bit about this, but at the same time, it's such a great honor. And it really is pivotal in America's current space age. They're testing things out there all the time. I grew up in Sandusky, and I always remember you could always tell when they were testing the rockets because you could hear the dishes in the house rumble just a little bit. Yeah, we were very close to it.
Right in your backyard.
Now, I'm not in my backyard, but within a few miles, just a few air miles, you could feel the ground tremble when they were testing certain rockets. It was kind of cool.
That's really cool, and it's such a big deal also for this area.
Yeah,
it is. So powerful.
It makes us feel connection. When we turn on the TV and we see a rocket that's going, even if it's unmanned, heading to moon, we played a small part in that.
And you're from Sandusky, that's pretty
it's kind of cool.
Yes,
I like
it
it.
is.
All right, next on What's New, the Summer Olympians are returning home from Tokyo. I sat down with Westlake native Adelaide Aquilla to talk about her shot put experience overseas.
Then a new cast is out. Who's taking top spot characters and the upcoming production of How I Met Your Father? That's coming up in Pop Break.
And we say hello again to Matt Wintz. So, Matt, I'm wondering, Indians game in play or what?
Yeah, we've been talking back and forth with them. I think Indians are going to be a go. There'll likely be a delay. This storm is going to get through here, and it's getting through fast. Your outdoor dining not looking good this evening, obviously. We'll fall back into the 70s. Just had a report of near 80-mile-per-hour winds in Bay Village. I just tweeted about it. We've got that update. We'll talk where these storms are going and how bad they'll get coming up after the break.
Welcome back to What's New. With the Olympic Games now complete, we wanted to catch up with a few of Northeast Ohio's Olympians to get a firsthand account of their experience in Japan and to find out what's in store for them moving forward. And we kicked that off today with a really interesting young lady. I went to Westlake yesterday to sit down with Team USA shot putter Adelaide Aquilla.
Once I got to Tokyo, I was almost overwhelmed with how polite and nice everybody there was. It was awesome to see everybody there just representing their country.
Adelaide Aquilla has come a long way in a very short time. After her first 2 years at Ohio State, she rededicated herself to her sport, exploding in her junior season, winning both Big Ten and NCAA titles. But the wild ride came to a peak at the Olympic trials when Adelaide realized she had made Team USA.
And then it kind of hit me that I was going to the Olympics. You know, I started walking to the ring and I started crying, and I just really didn't focus on the throw because I already knew I secured my spot.
Getting a chance to wear the USA jersey for the first time was a very special experience for the 22-year-old Westlake native. The honor of representing her country was like nothing else she'd done before.
That was an amazing feeling, and it was just great to know, like, I have a country behind me supporting me.
But going from the high of the Olympic trials to throwing in an empty Olympic stadium in the biggest meet of her life was almost surreal.
To walk into there and just have no fans or just quietness the whole time was different, but I'm glad I got to experience and add it to something that I can compete in again.
Even though Adelaide missed the finals, she says she'll cherish this experience, with her goal now getting back to the games for Paris 2024.
Walking out of the stadium, I was a little disappointed in how I did, but I started to come to the realization, I was like, I'm an Olympian. I was one of the youngest girls in the field, and that was my first ever international meet.
And she wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for all of the support she received from so many here in Northeast Ohio and elsewhere.
Seeing everybody rally behind me was just very overwhelming, and they would just say, like, good luck and wish you well at trials. I had random people from Michigan being like, wow. I dislike Ohio State, but I'm gonna cheer for you type of thing. I was like, I don't know how the news got over there, but it was really awesome to have a whole community behind me, not just my parents and close friends.
She's got a brilliant career ahead of her. Very, very likable young lady.
Yeah, she is.
This is super likable. As for what's next, Adelaide starts her senior year at Ohio State. She's still a baby.
She is.
That happens in just a couple of weeks. She still has 2 indoor seasons and an outdoor season of eligibility remaining at OSU. She's looking forward to defending her Big Ten and NCAA championships, perhaps earning a master's degree along the way. And of course, she really has Paris 2024 circled on her calendar, and I'm expecting big things from her there. She's taken that next big step to an international competition. Her next one would be getting on that podium, and I would not count her out.
I have a good feeling. You're right. She's so likable. I want to be her friend. Can you connect us?
Is
that weird?
I know. I just sat with her for a half hour, and I really feel like I got to know her. I found out while talking with her, while she was in Tokyo for the Olympics, she was completing classwork. She was taking a class at Ohio State.
I just really like her. Okay,
she's a hard worker.
Yeah.
She's smart. She's great. So Adelaide, good luck to you. We're watching.
Agreed. All right, we got to turn to weather now because there's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, there definitely is, guys. We've got a pretty intense line of storms that'll be pushing east across the entire viewing area as we go throughout the evening. A lot of you are already seeing that right now. Prepare for power outages with this. Boy, we've seen numerous power outages off towards the west. Lots of reports now coming in just west of this from 50, 60 mile per hour winds. And where you just, as I mentioned before the hit, there are about 80 mile per hour winds being reported just above the surface in Bay Village right now. Areas in orange, those are your severe thunderstorm warnings right now. That's where the severe weather is imminent. You notice our brand new severe thunderstorm watch, which now includes the rest of eastern Ohio as this line continues to maintain itself. So staring us down, big old line of storms. This is tracked all the way from Chicago this afternoon. It is being fed on cooler air back behind it that's rushing in. You can see the leading edge whenever you look at a radar like this. You're looking at the rain. So we've got intense rain on the leading edge of this. Just some times. This is brand new. I just put out the new time estimates here. Cleveland, a couple minutes here, but Menor around 5:38. Akron, Canton area around 6, and then down towards Alliance about 6:30 or so as this is moving east about 45 to 50 miles per hour. What you're seeing here, you should be familiar with this radar. This is the wind radar. We can look inside the thunderstorms and see where those strongest winds are. This is the area of strong wind right now that just moved off the lake. It was about 80 mile per hour, at least estimate just above the surface. If that's coming down to the surface, it's pretty likely that we're at least getting something strong out of this. So Westlake, Fairview Park, even Rocky River, looks like most is going to slide down to your south, but still gusty winds at the onset. That's our biggest pocket of wind as of right now. Boy, it is coming down in buckets. Real heavy rain. We've had over 100 lightning strikes with this in the last 15 minutes or so. This will push into downtown Cleveland, southern suburbs here, Parma down towards Strongsville here in the next 5-10 minutes. As you get down towards the south, we get a little break. Still a decent storm, still some gusty winds on this leading edge heading into areas of Medina County. Medina here about another 10 minutes or so. Down further south, we get another pocket of heavier rain. That's moving through Ashland, about to cross into Wayne County. You have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for that. And then further south, those storms extend down towards Mansfield. The big picture, look at how much this thing's traveled. It is just a living, breathing machine here, a complex of storms that will race through eastern Ohio again. Once that heads out, we're really going to quiet down the rest of the evening. Look at the history of this thing. Wind damage reports well over 100. Trees down, power lines down with this. Again, damaging winds, primary threat, tornado threat, very small with this. It's mainly the winds. As we go hour by hour with your National Design Mart forecast, look at this. Out of here by 8 o'clock, our southeastern counties, a quiet evening. It's going to be muggy. It will be a little bit cooler. Temperatures will settle back into the low 70s. Tomorrow, I'm afraid we do it all over again. We gave you the heads up earlier this week on this, but we've got another active setup perhaps tomorrow. Models have a bad handle on where the storms develop, but just keep in mind we're going to have perhaps another round as we get into tomorrow, especially later in the day. The muggy meter, it's all worth it, I promise, folks. We have a beautiful weekend shaping up, comfortable air before it builds back up next week. And that comfortable air is going to come with a little bit of sunshine as well. How about that? Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast near 90 tomorrow if we get that sun to peek out. Friday, more storms around here. Saturday, maybe some early rain, then clearing. Sunday looks like the pick of the weekend at this point. And then next week, we turn our eyes towards Fred in the tropics. Always something around here, but we could be dealing with some tropical moisture by next week. Laura and Jay?
All right, thanks. A lot going on. Well, the more, the merrier. 2 new Jeopardy hosts are officially named. Who's taking the position? That's next for you in Pop Break.
Then, in the smoothest baseball slide I've ever seen is coming up in our Worth the Watch. We're not going to show it to you here. It's called a tease. Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
How do you, David? How are you? Hanging in there. It's Wednesday.
Just south of Toledo.
Hello.
Yeah,
How are you?
Man, all the way through. No, there is a Bowling Green. Well, there's a Western Kentucky in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is just south of Indiana. But no, Bowling Green is about 2.5, 3 hours.
I do.
No, it's 2 hours west of here.
I mean, you really are Ohio.
Through and through, man. You can take the boy out of Ohio, but you can't take the Ohio out of the boy.
Did you think at your age you'd come back here?
It was my plan to come back far sooner.
It was.
Yeah. The pit stop at ESPN was far longer than I expected it to be. I originally, literally, sounds crazy, but when I was in Columbus, I was trying to get to Cleveland. But I couldn't because the sports jobs weren't coming over. Jimmy's been here for 36 years or something. The guys were entrenched and they weren't moving. back. It's time for our daily pop break. I love this portion of the show because a lot of this stuff slips through my cracks, but Kiera is on it, and it's how I'm educated.
Me too. When I watch The Five, I'm always getting my tips. So today we're talking about How I Met Your Mother. It was a fan favorite. We know of so many. And its spin-off, How I Met Your Father, is finally getting underway, right?
Yeah, people have had their eye on this spinoff for quite some time, and we finally have new details. So after a failed pilot in 2014, Hulu is putting its own stamp on the spinoff. Hilary Duff will star as Sophie in the show alongside Chris Lowell as the show takes viewer back in time as Duff's character explains to her son how she met his father. And that's where the new cast members come in. Duff will be joined by Francia Raisa, Tom Ainsley, Tian Tran, and Suraj Sharma. But the sad part is there's no word yet on when production for How I Met Your Father is set to begin. And the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce, is the latest star to grace the cover of Harper's Bazaar magazine. The media mogul is on the cover of their Icon issue, discussing the evolution of her career from a Houston child star turned music icon to a business owner and motherhood. At 39 years old, the legendary singer says she's just getting started. She told the magazine, "There's nothing like the amount of love, passion, and healing that I feel recording in the studio. After 31 years, it feels just as exciting as it did when I was 9 years old." So yes, the countdown to new music from Beyonce is officially on. And it's official, Jeopardy has not one, but two new hosts. Executive producer Mike Richards and actress Maya Bialik will be taking over for Alex Trebek following his death last year after battling pancreatic cancer. The news of Richards and Bialik's new roles comes months after speculation and after more than a dozen guest hosts, celebrities, and former contestants. And according to reports, Richards will act as the daily host and Bialik will serve as the face of new spinoffs. Laura and Jay, what do you guys think of the new picks?
I like the announcement. I saw some of her shows when she hosted. She's funny.
Yeah.
She's very smart. She's going to, I guess, host the primetime Jeopardy specials.
Yeah.
And the gentleman has been the producer, the executive producer of the show for the last year. Yeah. So I'm thinking, who better to host than somebody who's executive produced the thing for a while?
He promoted himself.
Yeah.
But you know what? I feel like a lot of shows are doing two hosts lately. You're seeing it move, like there's kind of a shift there. I like it. Why not?
We'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I know. A lot of the fill-ins were very good, and I'm glad that I didn't have to choose because I thought they all did a good job. Okay, Kiera, thanks.
Sure thing.
Our worth the watch. This is as smooth as you'll ever see a baseball slide. The Dodgers' Trey Turner, one of the fastest guys in the game, certainly one of the game's best base runners. He's on second. Now, there's going to be a single to right. Playing right field is Bryce Harper. The man has a cannon for an arm. So Turner knows he's got to get creative with the slide. Will you look at this slide? I want you to see it again, Laura.
Let me see, because I missed it.
Okay. He just... it looks like he's on a slip and slide. He comes to his feet like he's done that a million times before.
He looks like a dancer.
A little pirouette at the end. And by the way, he's safe. So it doesn't get any better than this.
I like that. I also really like hearing your sports commentary because I just heard that come out in quite a way.
Yeah.
It just said ad-lib, by the way, folks. There wasn't a script there. So.
Well, I've done that for years and years
well,
and
you
years.
Have.
So
I got a first-hand look.
You put a sports clip in front of me, and I totally changed.
I saw you go. All right, Jay, thanks.
I totally changed.
Next on What's New, hospitality hostility is really becoming a thing. We talk with local restaurant employees about the increased attitudes they're receiving from their customers.
And we're a month away from Velosano, Cleveland. That, of course, is Cleveland Clinic's Bike to Cure, where 100% of donations go to life-saving cancer research right here at home. Sarah Shookman is going to join us in just a couple of minutes to tell us how we can get involved.
Plus, fair season is back. A look to this year's fun in Cuyahoga County and the changes you can expect if you're heading out.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we begin at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. First up, the CDC is urging pregnant women to get the COVID vaccine. Before, the agency just encouraged pregnant women to consider getting the vaccine. This also includes those who are breastfeeding, trying to get pregnant, or those who might become pregnant in the future. New data shows nearly 2,500 pregnant women who received the vaccine 20 weeks into their pregnancy did not have an increased risk for miscarriage.
Today, Governor Mike DeWine named a new Ohio Department of Health director. Starting next Monday, Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff will take the role, replacing Stephanie McLeod, who was named, you remember, back in November. She will return as administrator to lead the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. She replaced Dr. Amy Acton, who stepped down back in May. Dr. Vanderhoff is expected to be confirmed by the Ohio Senate before Monday, and he's been involved in most of the governor's coronavirus press conferences.
And number 3, Ohio's COVID cases trending in the wrong direction, as you'll see by this graph right there. Overnight, the state reporting 3,393 new cases. The last time we had 3,000 daily cases, way back in February. And for just a little bit of context, our biggest number of daily cases throughout the pandemic was more than 12,500 in one day. Hospitalizations also on the rise. 147 new patients admitted in the last 24 hours. That is double our 21-day average of 74. COVID patients are now occupying just over 4% of the hospital beds in the state. And while that doesn't seem like a lot, just last week that number was at 2%.
Right.
So it's doubled. And with that, we welcome you into the second half hour of What's New. Thanks so much for joining us. With Laura Caso, I'm Jay Crawford.
Thanks for having me. You know, our desks are right across from each other, so we're chatty, but it's nice to chatty with all of you, so
yes,
thanks.
It's been fun, so thanks for stopping by. Yesterday, we told you about a server in Maine who received a $100 tip after a customer felt bad about the way he reacted to service. He sent the money with a letter of apology. It appears to be something the hospitality industry is dealing with nationwide.
And Jasmine Monroe got a chance to speak with one local restaurant who's putting patience above all else when it comes to service. Hi, welcome. This is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. So if you think about it, just be nice to, you know, hospitality industry. But yes, if you've ever been to the South Side, it's one of Tremont's busiest restaurants. So they know exactly what they're talking about when they brought up impatient customers. Now, the South Side just celebrated 18 years of service. So that means that they know what they're doing. Their service, busing, tables, bartending, and they're doing it all short-staffed. Now, low wages are the most common reason people cite for leaving the food service work industry. But the one recent survey, more than half of the hospitality workers who quit said no amount of money would get them to return back to work. But according to a New York Presbyterian Hospital study, when you give people high anxiety, aka the pandemic, irritability is often the symptom. That's why the South Side is putting patience first.
There's only 3 of us on at a time for 36 tables, so it's pretty stressful, but we get our job done. We're always friendly, and I just want to remind people that we need you to be nice to us, and we're nice back, and we'll give you great service. I mean, everyone here is awesome. We love our job, so I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here.
Now, of the 10 million jobs across the country, 1.6 million of them are in the leisure and hospitality industry. And as my grandmother always say, be nice to the person who's bringing you your food.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, there's a saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I think it's never been more appropriate than in that situation. 3 servers, 36 tables. My math tells me that's 12 tables for each server at a time. That is incredible.
Yeah, so if you're waiting for your water wondering, oh, they totally forgot about me, they didn't. They just
they're just backed up.
Just relax, enjoy the atmosphere.
We're allowed outside.
Exactly.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Jasmine, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, well, there's so much to talk about when we look at the program as we move forward. And one of the things that we want to discuss right now is a story that shows, according to a recent report, nope, that's not it. We're going to talk about pumpkin spice.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
I was hoping you were going to get there.
Yeah, it took me a second, but the pumpkin spice story is fascinating. I'm going to get your take in a minute, but you go ahead.
Okay, okay. So we're getting ready for fall, y'all. That's what I would never say, y'all, but that's in the prompter. Okay, but we're getting ready for fall. It doesn't really feel like it right now. obviously, but that crisp, cool air, listen, it'll be here before we know it. And stores are now stocking up on their fall flavors already. So if you love your pumpkin spice lattes, all things fall, it's coming to the menu. This is for you. This season, Dunkin' is releasing a new pumpkin cream cold brew and pumpkin spice signature latte. So PSL season is actually returning to the coffee giant earlier than ever before, and you will be able to see fall menu items starting August 18th, which is actually a week from today. As for Starbucks, they have not released their fall menu date just yet.
Okay, are you in on the pumpkin spice craze? And I do mean craze.
Not really.
Yeah?
I like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it. Are you?
No, see, it's fine, okay? I love pumpkin pie. Pumpkin spice is okay. But I know several people that love it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like catnip for them. They are anxiously awaiting for the restaurants, particularly the coffee houses, to bring these spices back in the fall. Now, for me, that's horrible because it seems like you're wishing summer away so you can taste pumpkin spice.
Which we don't like, right.
No, I say enjoy the summer.
I agree, but people love to get their first pumpkin spice latte, get a cute picture with a scarf, a little hat. Like, that's a thing, Jay.
I know it is. I'm not in on that thing. Last week, on our What's New Facebook page, we asked viewers if they're ready for fall.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just the drinks, but the decorations, the sweaters, the leaves, the colder temperatures, the whole bit. Here's the results. And I'm glad to see the results. Most are still soaking in the summer. Yeah. So the majority of them, and if you're like me, you can't read that. I have no idea what that says. Mo, what do the results say? They're soaking, most people are soaking in the summer. I would be in that camp.
So I
Give
would
me
too.
summer, summer, summer.
I will say, being as pregnant as I am, sometimes I would like a little bit of that fall weather. Yeah. It just, it gets very hot.
I can understand that.
But, we're not ready for the pumpkin spice.
I can wait.
We can wait.
I can absolutely wait. All right, still ahead, Riding for a Cure. Velosano is exactly 30 days away. Thousands will take place raising money for cancer research. And boy, you're going to find out in a minute just how much they've raised over the last 8 years or so. Sarah Schuckman joins us next to explain more about the cause.
And then Raising Cane's Chicken is getting another new location. We'll tell you where ahead in Clicking in Cleveland.
Now, I love that.
Me too. I had it for the first time the other day. But first, here's Matt.
Yeah, guys, still severe thunderstorm warnings as they continue to plow east into Portage, Stark, and areas of Lake and Geauga County. We're tracking power outages in the Weather Center, Ohio, up to about 30,000. I think that's a little bit delayed. There are numerous trees down in the Lakewood area. As this line continues to advance east, we'll track and time this out. We'll talk about the days to come. And we've got a beautiful looking weekend ahead. That's the bright side. We'll bring it to you next.
So time for weather. I always ask Matt questions. I'm fascinated about weather systems. And he explained to me earlier why we get these high winds at the front edge of the system. And Matt, you did it as succinctly and as well as I've ever heard it explained.
Wow, what a compliment.
Well, I appreciate that, Jay. I only gave you one sentence worth.
But you know what? You nailed it. I understood why after you said what you said.
Yeah, this is different setup today. And Jay, you and I were talking about it's different setup today than it is, typically when you get these bubble up thunderstorms that collapse. It's not a summertime setup. This is a complex of storms that's moving through. We call it an MCS, a mesoscale convective system. It's basically got its own structure. It's got its own heartbeat, all that stuff. And this thing is just plowing through. Doesn't care about the environment out ahead of it because it is driven on cool air that is sinking behind it. We call it a cold pool. It comes outward. I'll explain a little bit more in a second. Let's get to the latest weather, though. Orange counties, these are where you have severe thunderstorm warnings. We've now expanded that. Ashtabula, Trumbull. Every county in our viewing area is going to be viewed at some or warned at some point. You can see how we're starting to trickle away back towards the west. Once this line moves through, your severe weather clear. So west of Cleveland, severe weather clear. We're going to have a nice quiet evening out ahead. It's in advance of that we've got these really strong winds in pockets. Not everyone's going to see the damaging winds. Everyone will see some wind out of this, but the damaging pockets of winds are scattered throughout this line. And as we go into that, you can look at the wind radar, some of these reds as it switches to the east of the radar site over there on the west side of Cleveland. We're starting to get some of the reds and some of the brighter reds showing you where we've got stronger winds. We've got power outages on the east side. You can see some of these brighter pockets just south of Warrensville Heights as you get down towards Solon, some gusty winds. That is now advancing east with that latest radar scan. The wind is right here. We've seen stronger pockets down to the south. It does look like it's been stronger, 50, 60 up towards Cuyahoga County. Meanwhile, we're 30, 40 down towards the south. This will head into Copley, eventually Akron. You can see where that wind is advancing east around 50, and that extends into Wayne County. Worcester, you've already gotten your gusty winds. It's in Orville, Doylestown, down towards Salt Creek, getting ready to head into areas of Stark County. The rain's the other issue with this. Very heavy rain, lots of lightning as well. We've seen quite a bit of strikes over the last 15 minutes. Areas of Cuyahoga getting into Geauga County. The leading edge of that rain now pushing into the Chardon area. Lake County seeing heavy rain. Southeastern areas of Cuyahoga County near Solon picking up some very heavy rain as well. That extends south near Medina. You can see the heavy rain extends down as far south as Holmes County as well as this entire complex continues to head out towards the east. There's some timing for you. Akron area around 5:50, Canton around 6:10, even Warren out towards Youngstown around 6:38. Bigger picture, we had a complex this morning. Here's our next complex. Remember, this is its own system. Once it gets through, we're fine. It'll be nice and stable, still kind of muggy this evening, but out towards the north and the west, they've got another one up in Wisconsin producing tornadoes. That boundary will settle in tonight. But this whole thing, look at all the wind damage reports coming in from this. You get this big pool of cool air that's heavy and dense. It sinks, it comes outward, it just blows it eastward. And that's why we've got so much wind with this, because there's so much cold air sinking in that storm that comes at you. Look at the temperature difference. We go from near 90 degrees. We recovered like that today. That was surprising. We go from 80s to near 90 back to the 70s this evening. Unfortunately, we can't lose this number. That's the dew point. Gets a little bit lesser as we mix in some drier air from the upper levels, but boy, it's still going to be a pretty humid night. National Design Mart hour by our forecast. We get this thing out of here. Tribe will play, likely in a delay at the onset, but notice tonight is quiet. We'll do it all over again tomorrow. I've mentioned last couple days models are awful depicting where these storms develop. So yeah, something like that tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. It's going to be a wait and see thing, but we'll keep the storms in the forecast. The weekend, it's all worth it, folks. Comfortable air settles in here Saturday and Sunday. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast looks like this. 70s on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe some lingering rain if we can't get this boundary out quick enough. Next week, Monday looks great. And then we talk tropics Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll have more on that, but we'll deal with the short term first. Jay.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well, tonight is special here at 3 News. We're 30 days from Velosano. It's Cleveland's Bike to Cure ride, where 100% of the donations go to life-saving cancer research that stays right here at home.
And you'll see we have a QR code on your screen now. So it's so simple. Aim your phone's camera at the screen, and it'll actually send you a link to our team page, WKYC page, where you can support the team and Velosano's Ride for a Cure.
Sarah Schuckman here now. And Sarah, good afternoon to you. This is a cause that's very near and dear to you. I know you've ridden for the last couple of years and you're ready to go again. I know you've been training.
Yes.
And you're excited about this.
So excited.
Tell us why this is so important to you.
Well, first off, today we're about 30 days out. And so we had all this special programming planned and we've been telling you about it all week. But I guess I owe Matt a beer. That's what one of our directors said, because we have been watching the weather today and pivoting so that we can get out safely for a training ride and bring you guys along hopefully soon. But WKYC has been a media partner now since Velosano started. It's in year 8, and to date, more than 6,000 people have volunteered to help with the ride. More than 15,000 have raised nearly $25 million as riders and virtual riders, and 100% of that is supporting research projects at Cleveland Clinic. That money has launched more than 170 research projects, with scientists actively working on these cure theories just down the street at Cleveland Clinic. They're looking at all kinds of cancer, funding projects to fight leukemia, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, brain cancer, breast cancer, and so many more, including many pediatric cancers. Now, we have all learned a lot about research during the pandemic. It takes time and it's expensive. About 90% of ideas can't even get the funding to begin testing. So Velosano has changed that locally by offering seed money to these new diagnostic tests and treatment therapies that then go on to secure external grant funding elsewhere. You know, anybody that has been through a cancer experience or knows someone like my dad, it's motivating to me. It just gives you something that you can do. I'm not a scientist myself, but I can ride a bike, and it gives me a reason to help raise money every year through Velosano and with our team.
Yeah.
It's so important. Now, if someone, about 30 days out, if someone's thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not in shape to do this, I'm not ready, but I want to get involved.
Yes.
What do they do?
Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. I mean, first off, you can volunteer. They use about 1,000 volunteers every ride weekend, so that's really important. Also, you don't have to ride. You can ride short distance, 10 miles if you want to. The fun ride goes around Progressive Field. That's a really good one. A lot of people on our team are doing that. But you can also create your own challenge. You know, this is something they launched last year because everything was virtual, of course, with the pandemic. So you can create your own challenge, whether that's a walk or a run or a hike or just anything else that you could do to sort of commit to. And as a virtual rider, you could do nothing at all and still raise some money.
Yeah, it's great. $3 million raised last year, over $25 million over the 8 years.
To date.
That's a big chunk of money, and it does help.
They see incredible support here in Northeast Ohio, so thank you for that, because not only the riders, but also companies that help make this possible so that 100% of your donation can go right directly into research. So we'd love your help.
Easiest way to sign up and help get involved?
Everything's at WKYC.com.
All right,
we
great.
make it easy for you there.
Super.
Sure do.
Thanks
so
guys.
much.
Thank you. Well, next on What's New, no preseason opener for Baker Mayfield. It's happening this Saturday, but the quarterback will be sidelined. We're going to tell you why. That's next in Clicking in Cleveland.
And a dog crazy for Crayola, apparently. How this guy managed to get his siblings' crayons all over him. It's ahead, and show us something good.
Yeah. You got me? Mic check, this is What's Clicking in Cleveland. I don't really know why Baker Mayfield's not playing in the preseason. He's just not doing. I mean,
right, it's time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Laura. Nice to see you actually in the studio, I think for our first time together.
I know it is. Can I give you a hug?
Right. We'll be over there in just a second. Now, this first one, I have to start off loving this pun. This is for the Caniacs. There's a new Raising Cane's coming to Sandusky in just over a month, Jay's hometown. Now, what you're looking at here in this video that we're about to play for you is the Lakewood location grand opening. This one in Sandusky will be extra special, though, because it is one of the first locations to have a double drive-through and a double kitchen, so you can get your chicken finger fix twice as fast. Now, Raising Cane's is looking to hire 200 people at all levels to staff the location. It opens on Tuesday, September 14th, just over a month. And the Cuyahoga County Fair is officially back in business after taking the last year off. You can stop out at the Berea Fairgrounds for your favorite fair foods, rides, and animals, plus a ton of special events. It's $8 to get in unless you are active military or a child aged 3 and under, then it's free. Parking is free for everyone. You can check WKYC.com for a link to the full fair schedule. You have now through Sunday to get it all in. And it is time. The brand new shorter NFL preseason kicks off tomorrow with the Washington football team and the New England Patriots, and the Cleveland Browns preseason opener is on Saturday. The rest of the team will be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Florida, but Baker Mayfield will be sitting this one out. Instead, Case Keenum will start at quarterback. The Browns tell us they'll reveal the rest of the starting squad tomorrow. Now, nobody played in the preseason last year because we didn't have one, but I have to think this is pretty typical, right, Jay? They're going to just kind of lay back on Baker for now?
They know what they have. They know he's the starter. They know what he can do. You really want to get your backups some playing time. We don't know how Kevin Stefanski approaches a preseason as a head coach, because last year was his first season and he didn't get a preseason. So I'm guessing that he's going to be conservative with Baker. No need to put him out there. I'm imagining that game 2 will be like the old game 3 used to be, where you play your starters a lot and then you'll pull back in game 3, rest them up and get them ready for the season.
I think people would be excited to see that too, because that's here in Cleveland.
Yes.
So it would be nice to see them.
Don't sit them for the home game. Let us get out there and see them. All right, and by the way, the Raising Cane's in Sandusky, I drive by it every weekend.
You ready?
I can't wait to get my Texas toast fix.
You did tell me it's very, very good.
If you haven't eaten the Texas toast at Raising Cane's, it's addicting. It's
I can do the
Texas
toast.
Should we go?
Yes, you can do that.
I will do the Texas toast. You get the chicken fingers.
Very good. All right, Stephanie, thank you. Just ahead on what's new, how this pup managed to turn red and blue. Dogs do the darndest thing. It's our show of something good, and it's next.
Then on What Matters Most at 6, United Way of Greater Cleveland will soon have a new president and CEO. We'll hear from August Napoli on why he's now stepping down.
New kid reported in Ohio in the past 20. I do, David. How are you? Irish Daily Number.
Wait, so what do I do?
Months. We got more information about just how contagious the Delta variant really is in children and those who are not vaccinated.
Yeah, guys, I'm fine. I'm just going to scurry over. Yes. I mean, I'm fine. Yes, of course.
Hey, got you. What's up?
Well, we wrap it up with our show us something good. Dog owners can relate to this. It's going to make you smile, maybe even laugh. This is Larry, which is kind of an odd name for a dog, but let's go with it. Larry's a golden retriever who likes to retrieve anything, including crayons. The pup got a hold of red and blue crayons and gave himself a makeover recently at his home in Arizona. Laura, his owners say he snagged them from the kiddos while they were coloring. Then he took them outside, which, as we know in Arizona, they're not going to last long. They melted in the grass. He rolled around in them. And now it looks like he's ready for Halloween or something.
But he's so sweet. And I love the name Larry for a dog. What do you mean, Jay?
No, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, you know, I kind of chuckle whenever I hear human names for a dog. It's just a little odd.
He's sweet. Do you think he knows he did something wrong?
Never. Look at that face. We're out of time. Thanks for joining us, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us at home. We're back tomorrow at 5, and we hope to see you then.
And of course, what matters most starts right now.
Now at 6, the dangers of Delta.
This is not your grandparents' COVID. This is COVID on steroids.
The virus leaves a staggering amount of new daily cases in Ohio as local doctors warn of just how dangerous the variant is. Also, parental dilemma.